Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rahul. If you're new here, I'm the head of paid at Reach Digital, and on this channel we talk about everything to do with e-commerce and paid ads. In this video, I'm going to be walking through the account structure and the type of creatives you actually need in order to succeed with running TikTok ads through lead generation. Now, these types of creatives aren't that complicated. If you're a solo founder or a solo marketer, you'll be able to create them yourself, and it's easily replicable across multiple accounts. Now, before we actually get into the ad account and going over some creatives, there's a couple of things you actually need to be successful on TikTok ads itself. The first thing will be the creative itself. You want to make sure you have a content backlog of creative. With TikTok ads in particular, it tends to fatigue much faster than running ads on Meta. So you want to make sure you've got a constant flywheel of content coming through either a content creator or directly from yourself. So before you even start creating the content and building that content flywheel, you need to understand how TikTok ads currently work, or better yet, how TikTok works as a platform. Now, majority of what works on TikTok is actually from the curiosity or the engagement factor built on your videos. So you want your videos to directly provide some type of entertainment or value to a customer in order for them to watch the whole video. So now when we're actually building the content out itself, or the client is building it and we're giving some creative strategy from our side, we kind of have a five-point checklist we really look at. So the first one would be starting off with a strong hook. So what's in it for the customer? And usually this is the first 3 seconds of the video where we're trying to capture the customer's attention. Once we've got that, we expand on the hook. How does it improve the consumer's life? Now this is where we introduce either we agitate on the problem or we introduce the product. And then the third point would be introducing a secondary hook. What additional value does it provide directly to that customer or the customer's life? The fourth part will be using quick cuts, on-screen text, and any relevant narration throughout the video. Now, the quick cuts usually help with keeping the customer's attention. And the last part will be a strong call to action. Once you've gone through the whole video, what is the offer and the value you're going to be providing them on the website? Now, usually this process can take time. I can go through another video on how we actually do scripting and creative briefing. But once we've got these videos, what we actually do from our side is run it on organic directly. So all you have to do is just post it on TikTok, and then we let it see how it performs over the week or even 3 days. Usually kind of find out roughly on how it goes, and that gives us an idea of if we think it's going to work on paid ads itself. So we've gone through the best practices of actually how to create content, but what does the creative production actually look like? So now going deeper into this, let's actually go through some of the bullet points we have on our side at Reach and the recommendations we give to our clients when creating content. From our side, we've got about four points on our checklist, and these are our creative production tips that our creative strategist has written out actually. The first one is be controversial and frame the video to be focused on what is in it for the viewer. Like I mentioned on the last part of the video, we want to make sure we're providing value directly to the user in terms of engagement. They're learning something, so some type of knowledge or some type of humor. The second point will be telling a story. Just like any content creation, you want to make sure you're telling a story and you're able to keep the customer's attention throughout majority of the video at least. Now the third point is actually something that's very common in a lot of our content. It's creating some type of weird hook or some type of weird shot at the start of the video. Now this helps build curiosity, tells the customer there's something weird going on or something, it can be something pleasing as well at the start of the video. It's something that matches your hook that you're trying to get the audience's attention off. And the last point from our creative production tips is actually calling out the problem and the pain point that you can solve. Again, it's very common on a lot of creative, so it should be quite stock standard. You want to make sure you're providing the value, call out something that's critical and that's important towards your customers and how you can solve it for them. This is not only going to help with your thumbs up ratio, so your first 3 seconds, but it'll actually help hold that attention throughout the video and help you with your post-click experience. A common way to actually address the problem or the pain point at the start is using a TikTok style comment reply video. You can have someone ask a question directly in the comment section of a problem they're going through or how they can solve it, and you can pitch your product as the direct solution to that. So now that we've gone through most of the post-production tips and also the content creation cycle, I'll actually showcase some of the creatives that I've noticed that are quite good for lead generation in particular. We can't really showcase clients at the moment, but I'll show rough examples of top performers that I think are crushing it in the space. These are one of the few videos that I think are crushing it. It's a common angle we use across most of our ads, and it's a POV perspective. What this does is you ideally try to find a relevant situation where this occurs during your life or a customer's life in this situation, and then you start that as the main hook and build upon that. So, for example, in this video, they're showcasing how to use the app as a POV concept, and from there they'll go ahead and show problem to solution, and then the call to action would be some. Now, the reason this type of angle and also concept works so well is it follows the ADA template 1, and also the second part is it's easy to duplicate and run this as 3 to 4 variations. All the content creator has to do is send us the recording of what we sent over on the script, and for us on the videography side, we can go ahead and make edits as part of the post-production editing and change the POV concept to any other points that we wanted to target, and that targeting will be based on which part of the audience segment we want to ideally talk to. So what I mean by when I say talking to this audience, I mean anyone you're targeting, your personas. This is ideally something you want to do in your customer research phase before you start creating content. If you're not sure who your audience is, that's totally fine as well. Start experimenting, trying different hooks, different concepts, and really from that you'll see where the videos take off, where you're getting the most conversions or leads, and from there you can start mapping out your audience target from there. Now, another thing that works really well is directly calling out who your target audience is in the first 3 seconds. In this form, it's actually using the voice over text that TikTok provide, so it's the automated annoying voice, and then you can also use a text here to actually call out the hook. In this case, it's dental implants cost almost nothing, and I'm assuming they're selling a service where they can offer some free type of dental checkup in this scenario. For pieces of content like this, you don't even have to show your face. You can show directly what you're working on or your customer. Majority of times we see a lot of, we talk to a lot of founders and they don't really want to show their face, or they're not comfortable in front of camera, and that's totally fine. There's lots of faceless TikTok accounts that do really well, and a lot of businesses built on the back of that. So if it's something you're not really comfortable with, that's totally fine. Don't let others talk you out of that. I would still try to figure out ways you can create content that can be either through someone else, or you're just gonna have to suck it up in some scenarios and create content where you have to figure out how you can make it faceless, whether it's constantly providing voiceovers and you're showing actions of your business, or it can just be, again, like I mentioned, hiring a content creator on the side. So once we've gone through and figured out all our content pieces, we know the creative cycle that we're going to go through, we know what type of content to create, we know how to create good content. Now we actually go ahead and look at the campaign structure and what's involved. Again, this is a super simple process. This will not take long at all. When you go ahead and create a campaign, TikTok will provide you with 2 options, a simplified mode and a custom mode. I usually prefer to go to a custom mode, but simplified mode is quite straightforward. You can click lead generation here, and it will take you through a very quick process. What we'll do in this scenario is actually go through the custom process workflow. So you click lead gen, you want to type in your campaign name. Ideally this would be prospecting. TikTok in particular is great for prospecting. Retargeting is not too bad, but at early stages, new account, you want to make sure you're focusing solely on prospecting. So you can go ahead and change the naming convention there. You can leave CBO off for the moment. I usually like to start testing with ABO, be in control of the budget, and really see where your spend is being allocated for the creatives. Now, when we go towards placements, I usually like to take video download off, and I also like to include the placements having the search results being included as a placement. This is great not only for the ad side, but also for SEO with your videos. So TikTok is slowly turning into, or already basically is, an SEO based platform. When you go ahead and a customer wants to search up something, they usually look at TikTok for recommendations, whether it's going to a cafe, dentist, whatever it may be. TikTok is a great platform, especially for Gen Z, to find recommendations. So for this video, we're just going to leave that on, and we're going to make sure user comment and video sharing is left on as well. Again, this is case dependent creative type, automated creative optimization. This is basically your dynamic creative. What it's going to do is, if you add in a bunch of videos, TikTok will determine which one to push majority of the budget to. based on a few soft metrics, and I'm not sure if particular they use cost per lead as one of the strongest metrics to base it off. From my experience, it hasn't worked out too great, but please do test it out on your accounts. I'm not saying my way is the best way for all of it. I'm saying this is the way I've seen success in. Targeting, this is a great approach. I like to split test this in particular. So automatic targeting is usually a broad targeting. You let TikTok kind of optimize based on the advertising objective. Custom targeting, you have more control. You can lead, both options have technically the broad aspect, so that's no targeting at all. But what I like to do is test a combination of broad audience, so that would be automatic targeting, and then kind of control maybe just the daily budget. That's about it. But whereas custom targeting, you've got control of everything from the language to the gender, age, and also some other custom interest behavior targeting. Now, what I like to do is have a broad targeting as well as two other ad groups with custom targeting. So first one, broad, second one would be household income, and the third one would be some type of interest behavior. I usually get these interest behaviors directly from Google Analytics. So you can go in there and you'll be able to find what type of audiences your customer usually fall under. Usually these are called infinity audiences, and from there I go ahead and see if I can match any of those audiences directly in. So once you've figured out your audiences and how you kind of want to set up the main structure of the ad groups, we can scroll down and go further towards targeting expansion. We can leave this off for the moment. I don't think it's really necessary. What this is going to do is basically try to hit different pockets based on your current recommendation. I personally haven't seen success in this, so I usually leave that off. Now your daily budget is going to be set again at the ad group level. You want to make sure your daily budget is 2 times the cost of your CPA, and this just helps us figure out what your average cost per acquisition is going to be. Usually I like to compare this directly with Meta and see how to allocate budget based on that. A schedule, I like to run ads on a fresh day. So let's say it's Tuesday afternoon, you would run it Wednesday morning just for a fresh set of budget. So, TikTok doesn't blow through any of your budget. Again, the optimization goal is leads. I usually like to go with lowest cost to start with, but cost caps is great in terms of helping with efficiency and also lead volume. And you usually figure out your cost cap once you start spending on lowest cost. For example, let's say we are running a lowest cost campaign. We spend $1,000. We are getting a cost per lead of $10. Now I would set my cost cap at $8, $10, and $12, 3 separate ad groups. Now this will let me figure out where, and this would be a CBO campaign. TikTok, will let me figure out where they're going to be allocating the budget, and from there I can go ahead and turn off the other ad groups and put most of my budget towards, for example, the cost cap maybe might be $10. That's generating most of the volume. Once we've decided that, we can go ahead to the next page, and this is going to be your ad group. Now, this is where we actually we import all the ads. So you can use a combination of Spark ads as well as creating a custom identity. I'll have some of this blurred out, so just because of client confidentiality. And what we've seen work really well is Spark ads when it comes to lead generation. So what you can do as a brand is go ahead and post these videos on organic, like I mentioned before. If you see traction on them directly, try running them as Spark ads. If you have 2 separate profiles, so you have a founder profile as well as a brand profile, that works really great. You can start leveraging videos directly from your founder profile as a Spark ad. Again, works really amazingly. We've seen about a 20% reduction in CPA, so I would highly recommend that approach. So I would start testing with Spark ads. If you don't see them work, switch over to brand ads and really split test it to see how it kind of works. And creating a custom identity is quite straightforward. You just click the plus sign here, import a logo, and type in the username that you want. And then you'd have to manually upload a video through here. In order to import a Spark ad video, you'd have to go on TikTok directly from your phone, and you'd have to get the auth code. It's quite straightforward how to do that. I'll leave a link in the description on what to follow. And when you're importing a Spark ad, for anyone who's just starting off with TikTok, you cannot change any of the text directly. Once you've uploaded on organic, that's it. All you can really change is either the call to action or the instant form that it's going to. Really, one thing I like to actually focus on when I found a winning ad is actually start to split test the instant form. Now, to split test the instant form, what you can do, you don't have much options, but the main one you've got is the headline. The headline allows you to really see if you can help reduce the CPA even further. So it can be some type of action you want the user to perform. Maybe you can provide a small testimonial. You can show, X amount of users have used my service, and that might help reduce the CPA even further. So a lot of people actually don't do that, and I would strongly recommend you go ahead and split test your instant form headline. Before even actually split testing the headlines, what you actually want to do is create the form itself. Now, TikTok has 2 types of forms you can create, very similar to Meta lead campaigns. Actually, I think the same developers actually worked on this as well. So you've got the advanced form and the classic form. Now, classic form has your stock standard default text available, your name, email, phone number. If you want more, advanced form is the way to go. Usually whenever we have lead gen clients, we recommend using the advanced form. It allows us to have a bit more customization, and it's easy to fill out. In terms of the integration with other platforms, you want to make sure you go through TikTok and maybe even combine Zapier. I think it's quite easy to set up all that. I think it takes about 20 minutes to set up some Zaps, and TikTok's documentation makes it super easy. So I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. I'll also make sure to add any other links that I might have missed out throughout the video, or anything I've talked about and that might be helpful for you guys to implement or work on later on. With that being said, now that we've gone through all the content, we've gone through the campaign setups, the last thing we're going to discuss now is actually both the lead volume and the quality of the leads coming from TikTok versus Meta. So the lead volume and the actual quality of the leads do vary a lot when it comes to running on TikTok and Meta. From what we've noticed, the quality of leads on TikTok is slightly lower than the quality of leads coming from Meta. Now this can be, due to a variety of reasons. I actually think the lower lead quality coming from TikTok is solely due to how easy it is to consume content on TikTok. Everything is quite entertaining on the platform, and as a user, you're swiping a lot, you're consuming a lot, so your attention span is not as high, as you're not really focusing on what you're kind of submitting your details or your email on. So you might go ahead and submit it and forget about it, and when the brand or the service reaches out, you're not really as interested anymore. So that's one of my main reasons why I like to split test the instant forms, try and make sure it's relevant to the user and we're actually solving something for them, or even send them to another website where we go ahead and make them go through the website, a landing page, and fill out either a quiz or some type of lead gen form through that flow. If you do go down the route of sending them to a landing page and filling out a form, you will notice the CPAs will rise solely because you are getting more valued customers. That's just one sacrifice you're going to have to make, but obviously that's something you can further optimize by changing the landing page, doing some CRO strategies, and also some creative tips that I've mentioned before. So that's all for today, guys. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment and some feedback. I am slowly trying to get better at recording more video content. If you want to see more written content from me, you can follow me on Twitter. We're also looking to start a newsletter at Reach Digital, which will be exciting, so would love any feedback on that. If I haven't gone through anything on the video that I've missed out on, please leave a comment, and I guess I'll catch you guys next time.